Welcome to Marketing for Small Business. What we're going to cover a lot of things tonight. And because we're covering a lot of things, we're not going to do get really into depth on any one thing. We do have classes individually on Facebook, Instagram, building a website, and those types of things. But this is really kind of an overview class, and it's not going to be, the end-all be-all of marketing your business. But it's just kind of a little bit of a taste of what you should probably be thinking about as you're getting your business going. So what we're going to cover is Facebook, Instagram, websites, emails, other social media, print marketing, and costs. So we'll just jump right in, and feel free to interrupt me and ask questions whenever you have anything, okay?
Okay.
So we could go down the rabbit hole. We could spend, hours and hours doing this class, and but it's intended, again, as an overview for options and not the comprehensive how-to class.
Okay.
We're going to talk about, best practices, things that you should do with these types of media, but it's really going to be an overview versus a full class. So Facebook. I talk about Facebook and Instagram more than the other social media sites, strictly because they really have their business piece kind of nailed down. So Facebook, why should you kind of use Facebook? Facebook has 2.41 billion monthly active users, and it's the third most visited website. 74% of Facebook users log in daily and spend an average of 38 minutes per day on Facebook.
Wow.
I know, right? That's a lot of time. And if that's the average user, then there are some people that spend a lot more time than that, and then there are some people that are just checking in. 300 million people use Facebook stories daily. 1.4 billion people use Facebook groups. 60% of Americans who watch digital video do so on Facebook. 74% of high-income earners use Facebook. So that's an important statistic, especially for small business who might be interested in tapping Facebook for their clientele. 90 million small businesses use Facebook services like Pages, Groups, and Messenger. And the average Facebook user clicks on 11 ads a month. So that's a great and important statistic.
So I have a question.
Sure.
Yesterday we talked about using Facebook for community groups. Sure. But I got to the senior center and the aging resource, I think, page that it was. Do you have any other suggestions on other things for me to look into? I mean, I just put elders or seniors or something.
Sure. So I would locally think about in your area how far you would want to travel. So your radius, right? So wherever you're located, and then a however mile radius around that. And then I would look to see what towns fall within that. And I would contact or look for senior centers within that radius. So
Did that.
So senior centers would be great. The senior resources is great because they're a regional state group, so they're
Okay.
a lot larger. I would reach out to any like care places, because you're doing the cleaning piece of it too, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just the care, but a lot of the care places don't do cleaning. So if you align yourselves with them, they might partner with you if clients are looking for something like that.
Okay.
So if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. I'll check with that. Thank you.
No problem. So best practices. So if you're going to create your page, you're going to want to define your audience. Like, so who is that age group you're looking for? You're, you know, specifically for your industry, you're not going to want to target 18-year-olds because 18-year-olds are not going to need your services. Their
Right.
parents are not going to be old enough to be needing care. But so your typical age group is probably going to be ages 40 to 60. So, because elderly people, 80 and 90-year-olds probably are not on Facebook,
Right.
especially if they need that care, because they're maybe not using social right now. So your typical age demographic, your audience is going to be 40 to 60-year-olds who are looking for care for an aging parent or family member. So that is a pretty specific defined audience, if that makes sense. You're not going to want to
Okay. That makes sense. Oh, I lost you. See what I mean? There you are.
You're
My
not.
internet connection is unstable.
Oh.
I figured that out when you got frozen.
Oh.
Jesus.
So so your defined audience is pretty specific because you have a very specific business. So you can really pinpoint the types of people that you would want to reach. So you're not going to be posting things about Nerf guns and whatever on your site because that's not your audience, right?
Right.
You're going to want to set goals for yourself. So, if you have a Facebook page going, you should have a list of goals that you're aiming for so that you know whether or not whatever you're doing is working or not, right? So maybe your initial goals might be to get 100 followers. Maybe then a second set of goals might be 500 followers and then 1,000 followers, or 1,000 likes or whatever it is. And then it might be to get 2 clients off of Facebook. And then maybe after you hit that 2 client mark, you could bump it up to 5 clients off of Facebook. Just so that there's always a moving target that you're looking for to make sure that whatever you're doing is worthwhile for you. Because if you don't have goals, then you don't know if you've gotten there and you don't know if what you're doing is worthwhile, if that makes sense.
Okay. It does. Yep.
And then you want to plan your content mix, okay? So if the only thing that you're talking about on Facebook is your business, and I would have no reason to follow you and look at all your posts every day, right? Because maybe I don't need that right now, whatever it might be. But you want to stay top of mind of people. You want to stay in their feed. So thinking through what other things might go along with what you do. Like talking about, what are the best cleaning products to use to be sure to safely disinfect areas where people might be having personal care issues, or if they are maybe a recipe that's easy to prep in the crock pot because you've got older people who maybe aren't going to stand in their kitchen and cook all day. So you can be thinking through the types of content that you would want to post. Delivery services that work with people, car services where people can get rides, reputable agencies that people that might be using your services might also want to be interacting with.
Okay.
Optimize your page for engagement. So you're going to get more likes, more followers, and more interaction from people if you have asks for them. So if I were to post a picture of puppies, great, people like puppies, right? But I have not asked anybody to do anything. So why would they comment on that or like it or share it, right?
Right.
But if I posted a picture of puppies and said, please share a picture of your dog below, then you're going to get some more interaction with that post. So you want to be able to create content that people are going to respond to, or have a reason to respond to. Because if they don't, that content's not going to go anywhere. Like, I would have no reason to interact with that unless you give me a reason.
Okay. That makes sense. That's what I was trying to figure out, how to do that.
Sure.
What I did, I went hiking today and I posted a picture. There's a rhododendron field out at the Patchogue Forest, and they had a wheelchair on the sign. So I took a picture of the sign and the wheelchair sign together, and I posted on there something about, does your mom and dad need to get out of the house? This place is beautiful. It even has wheelchair accessibility. You don't have time, you say? Well, I do, so please call today.
Perfect. That's an amazing thing. Right?
Good?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
And so do you have a lot of people that have liked your page yet?
I got 6 people that have liked it when I had boosted the main post.
Oh, great.
But that was it. I haven't gotten anything since. So that's why I was asking yesterday, should I boost it again to try to get more likes, or go this way with the different pages suggestions that you guys are giving me? The free way.
Yeah. So you're going to want to create new content for pretty regularly. Especially with social media, it's going to get stale pretty quickly. You want people to, be keeping up with what you do. If you are creating the content yourself, you're probably going to want to, at least to start with, until you're comfortable, kind of create a content calendar. So on Mondays, maybe we'll post a recipe, or an ingredient that is great to use for, like certain vegetables are great for anti-inflammatory purposes or whatever. Oh,
that's so funny, because I just put the information out there for that. Six ways to help with your inflammation.
Yeah.
So I do put informative things out there.
Right.
Places to go in the area to take your parent. But the recipe thing, I haven't done that yet, but I like that idea about, recipe Monday, and Tuesday do something different. I like that.
And what you could do to get people to interact with those recipes is you post the first couple of recipes, and then you ask people to share their favorite recipes in the comments, that you will share their recipe the following week, so that people always are having, a reason to comment and interact with your post, because people love it when you share their thing.
Yeah.
So giving people that incentive to interact with you.
Okay, excellent.
Or if you can ask them, if they make the recipe, to take a picture of it and post it in the comments. And then you'll have Then you'll have a bunch of visual content that you'd be able to use.
Awesome. Good idea.
So you could also consider using other Facebook tools like Groups or Facebook Business Manager. I think for you, you're probably not going to need Facebook Business Manager because it's truly just you. But Groups might be interesting. You could create a group that is attached to your business page for people that are have elderly parents so that they can talk to each other and have that camaraderie and have a group of people to talk to when things go wrong and ask suggestions and things like that.
Like it.
So that might be a good thing to add to your page.
Okay.
Facebook ads. So like what you were doing with boosting the post and things like that, you can create an ad that just advertises your page. So it'll just put your page out there. So you can create some content in that ad that just says, if you have, elderly aging parent or family member, and you just can't get there every day and you'd like to help them, please contact me. I'm able to do that. And so you're pushing your page out there versus just a post.
Okay. And is there a cost for that?
So there is a cost for that. There is a cost for the boost too.
Right.
But you get to choose how much you want it to be. So you could do it for $5, you could do it for $10, you could do it for $50. All of that, Facebook is going to tell you how many people you're going to reach for that. But because your audience is so specific, and if you come to one of our Facebook classes, I'll show you how to target your audience. Because your audience is so specific and you're looking at specific age groups and probably women, because women have a tendency to be the decision makers in the family, and they're going to be the one that is looking for that care versus men. So, that it's you can really narrow that target audience. So you are effectively putting your money in the best possible places.
Okay.
You get the biggest bang for your buck.
Awesome.
And then track, refine, and measure, right? So if you're just doing this and you're not going back and looking at, how many interactions you have on your posts, how many people are seeing them, if what you're doing is working, then you're just really putting content out there, and you have no idea what that is doing for you as a business. So, once a week, schedule yourself some time to look at how things are going. Have you gotten any new likes? Do you have any new followers? Are people commenting on the posts? Looking at the types of posts that people are really enjoying versus the things that don't get too much interaction. Because, if you say you put 5 posts out a week and people really like the recipe posts, but they didn't really enjoy a healthy tip, then you would know that maybe the healthy tips aren't good and that you should come up with something different to try instead of that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So now we're going to move away from Facebook a little bit and go to Instagram. I am not sure your demographic is on Instagram because
I'm not either.
Yeah. So plus the content that you're going to want to be sharing isn't as Instagram friendly as other businesses might be. However, Instagram is a great place for the younger audience. 112.5 million users in 2020. 63% of Instagram users log in at least once a day. They're on there an average of 28 minutes. 200 million Instagrammers visit at least one business profile daily.
Wow.
Engagement with brands on Instagrams is 10 times higher than Facebook. But a lot of those are clothing brands, things that are very visually appealing.
Oh, okay.
1/3 of the most viewed stories are from businesses. Instagrammers use tap-on shopping posts every month. And Instagram represents 10.7% of social referral share to e-commerce sites. So you're not going to have like an e-commerce site. And 11% of US social media users shop on Instagram. So you don't really have a store. You're not really selling anything except for yourself and your services. And that demographic that you're looking for, that 40-year-old to potentially 60-year-old, is that's going to be on the higher end of the typical age bracket for an Instagrammer. So for your particular business, I'm not sure that would be a worthwhile thing for you to invest your time in.
Okay.
But for best practices, establish a business profile. Instagram used to be personal alone. So they recently rolled out business profiles, and you can turn a personal profile into a business profile. The one really great thing about Instagram is you don't get as many spammers because you cannot post links. So there's no linkable content. But the only place that you can put a link is in your bio. So you might link back to a website or something like that. So you really have to boost your brand by writing a good bio for yourself. You have to be creative because it's a visual platform. So you have to think about the images that you're putting out there. So you could put things with taking, family members on trips, them enjoying themselves, really getting some joy out of that later in life care when potentially they may not have that if they're sitting at home by themselves.
Right.
So you could, I'm just not sure that it would be worthwhile for your target audience. Create a content calendar. So for Instagram, much like Facebook, you have to be thinking what you're going to be putting out there. Creating a content calendar would help. Again, much like Facebook, you're going to want to set goals for yourself. You know, how many interactions are you getting? How many posts are you making every week? Do you have any new followers? You know, have you gotten any clients from there? So setting those goals for yourself is important. With Instagram, you would use hashtags. You can use hashtags with Facebook also. And basically, it's like a card filing system. So, for the old school library, when you go and look up snakes in the card catalog and it tells you every single book in the library that it has snakes in it, that's basically what a hashtag is. So when you hashtag something, it puts a link on there that when you click that link, you can see every single post that has hashtagged that. So,
wondered that.
Yeah, so it's basically like a card file system for social media.
Okay.
Check your insights. Much like Facebook, you're going to want to see, what your response is, what you're doing, is what you're doing working, can you make changes?
Okay.
All right. Websites. So websites are important in business today, only because when you think about how people are looking for business, it used to be, even 20 years ago, when you were looking for a business, you flopped open the yellow pages, turned to the section of the business, and it listed every business there in your area with their contact information. That is not how it works anymore. So people Google everything. And if you're not on Google, if somebody can't find you, they cannot contact you and they cannot hire you. So, website benefits. They inform customers. They let customers know about sales and other events. In your case, they might be availability. Are you available? Reach a wider market. The website gives you access to more customers because not everybody is on social media. There are a lot of people potentially in that 40 to 60 age range that might not be on social media. So, and that's not to say that an 18-year-old wouldn't be looking for that type of care for a grandparent that may be caring for them. So, you know, they're not going to be on Facebook. Younger people aren't really there. It's always accessible. Customers can review your products at any time. It's your showcase. It's where you can put images, testimonials, and show off your business. Give your contact information, talk about, you know, rates and other things that you've got going on. And really put your message out there, you know, about, you know, what you're doing and why what you're doing benefits people. It seems, yeah.
Don't move that screen just yet. I want to see if I can get a picture of it so I don't have to write all that down.
Okay.
Go ahead, you can keep talking. I just don't want to have to write all that down. Okay, thanks.
No problem. It saves time. Buyers need info from your website. They might not necessarily need it from you. Especially if you've got a page on there listing places that are great places to take older people because they're handicap accessible, you don't want people calling you for that information, right? But if you had a page on your website that listed those places, you drive to people to your website, stay top of mind, and they wouldn't have to reach out to you for that information. Or, you know, if you took one of your clients somewhere and they told their, you know, son or daughter, and the son and daughter wanted to take them back there, rather than ask you where you went, they could just look at your website.
Perfect.
Better service. It is a great place to put your policies, to put all of the information about what you do and how you do it, so that you can communicate that information to your clients. It's a great place for people to get an email address from you, to get a phone number for you. Websites don't have to be crazy. They could be a home page and maybe a secondary page. They really actually only have to be one page, a home page, where they could, you know, see a couple of images, get your contact information, find out where you're working. Because one of the important things about, especially in Connecticut, or really anywhere else, if I'm looking up, you know, elder care in Connecticut, and I find you, but I'm in Danbury, you know, for me to be able to go to your website and say, oh, she works in these towns, I would know that maybe you're not going to come to Danbury, you know, to work with me. So it will save everybody a little bit of time. Okay.
Now, is there a cost to do that for the websites?
So there is, and the next slide, we're going to look at some different options for websites. Okay. So Squarespace. If you want to be able to accept credit cards as forms of payment, Squarespace is most appropriate for entrepreneurs and small business owners with basic e-commerce needs. So anybody that wants to set up a storefront and sell items, or anybody that wants to be able to be paid via credit or debit card, Squarespace is great. It is part of Square, which is a credit processing system. So it allows you to invoice clients through there. So even if you didn't have a QuickBooks, which is a bookkeeping software, this will help you track clients and payments in that way. So you can send invoices out through Squarespace.
Okay.
Shopify, probably not for you. It is an e-commerce platform for beginners and small to medium-sized businesses that need their hands held when they're setting up a store. So it would be good if you owned a bicycle shop and you wanted to feature all your bikes online and sell them without people having to come to your store. But for your purposes, it wouldn't be great for that.
Okay.
Magento. This would probably not be great for you unless you have a ton of website building experience. Magento is best for small to medium businesses that have already established demand, as well as the time and the manpower and the skill to build their own site. It's basically a do-it-yourself type of thing. You need to be able to write code. This is really great for somebody that that has the ability to do that, but it is not good for somebody that is not tech savvy.
Okay.
Wix is the best e-commerce platform for small businesses that don't have access to a dedicated web designer. So for me, of this list, I mean, this is not by any means a comprehensive list of web design platforms. There's 1,000 of them out there, and you can do your research. This is just a short list of different types that you might potentially want to use.
Okay.
So Wix is very easy to use. They have custom templates already set up. There is a free version of Wix. So especially if you wanted to link to a website from your Facebook page, you could do that. Unfortunately, the free version has their little Wix logo on it, which is fine if you don't want to pay. But it also doesn't give you a custom URL. So you couldn't have your businessname.com as your web address. It would be like wix.com, and then it would be / and then your company. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It could be a good start. And you can always upgrade from the free version to a paid version. And the paid versions aren't crazy expensive. Maybe a couple $100s a year.
Okay.
So if you wanted, Wix is great to play around with because you don't have to pay to get started. So if you wanted to try building your own website, you could absolutely do it in Wix without it costing you anything. But it's probably the easiest of the platforms.
Okay.
Big Cartel is the best e-commerce platform for artist entrepreneurs who are looking for an alternative to Etsy. So you don't have any crafts that you're selling that would not be appropriate for you. But if somebody did have crafts and they didn't want to use Etsy, which some people have problems with, they could use Big Cartel.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going to get into newsletters. And we do have a whole class about websites. There is a class in October. It's a lunch and learn class about pivoting your business to be on websites. And I go over much more in depth all of those websites.
Okay. I wonder if I signed up for that. Was that in with this one? No, I think this is the last one that you have, right?
There's 2 next week, I think. There's a couple next week.
Oh, I must have missed those. Oh, wait a minute. I am in the next week.
Yeah.
Disregard. I'm good.
Okay.
I was
So
on the wrong page. No wonder it was
that, I
empty.
mean, I don't even know what month it is anymore most of the time.
I know. It's crazy.
So newsletters. Newsletters are a great way to keep in touch with people. So it's businesses with people do business with people they know, people they like and they trust, that share helpful and informative content. Your brand can build credibility through email blasts. They allow people to be engaged without actually having to respond to you. So it's a really effective communication tool to let people know what's going on. So say you were doing care and you heard of several classes coming up, Medicare or retirement or whatever it was, and you wanted to inform all your clients that they could sign up for these classes, sending them out an email is an effective way to let them know things are going on without, calling everybody and being like, hey, I think you might, be interested in this class. So, this is one of our emails that we sent out to talk about our ITMs. I actually am not even sure that this one is launched yet, but this, it's bright, it's shiny. Most platforms website platforms have the ability for you to send a newsletter out through people that are signed up for an email through your website. So it's a really great way to keep in touch with people. But that's not to say that you couldn't just send an email from your business email address if you had a list of contacts. Just make sure that it is engaging when you send it out.
Okay.
Other social options. So Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube. Not all of these are right for every person, but each business is different. And so kind of assessing what you might want to use as your social option. If you were a business that had a lot of information to put out, or kind of news related, maybe Twitter is your place to be, because that is something where you can post things frequently. Maybe if you ran a town, you were running a town organization and you were trying to give people up-to-date information all the time, Twitter might be the place to be because you can post more frequently. Pinterest is great for designers, for wedding planners, for restaurateurs, for businesses that collaborate with other people. So say that you were a designer and you wanted to collaborate with your client about a new bedroom, you could each post pictures of what you were thinking into Pinterest and create a Pinterest board all about whatever the room is that you're working on. So you can have a collaborative space to deal with your clients. It works really well in that arena, and those rooms can be private. So you can create a private space for you and somebody else to be able to collaborate. LinkedIn is good. You might want to consider getting on LinkedIn if you're not already on LinkedIn. It is the business professional network that is most like Facebook, but for business people. Now, if you're thinking about who might be on there, you would want to make local connections with business people because those people are working. They are not home taking care of elderly parents, and they might need some help to get that done. So, and people seeing you on there might get somebody to make a connection. So I might say, somebody said, oh, I'm really looking for, somebody to help me with cleaning my mom's house. She just can't do it anymore. And she needs some self-care and maybe help making lunch. And, and I would say, oh, well, on LinkedIn, I have this girl, Mary, and I think she'd be a great contact for you. So
Okay.
So being out there and being visible and letting people know what you're doing.
Okay. I just have one question with that.
Yeah.
I was on LinkedIn years ago, but I got off of it because it was too busy for me. There was too much stuff. So I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know how to navigate in different places and stuff like that. But should I work on that?
So we do have a class called Making LinkedIn Work for You. I think there is a class in November on LinkedIn. So here's the thing about social media. I wouldn't do anything that makes you feel overwhelmed, because you won't do it. You won't do a good job at it. And then it won't be a good thing for your business. So
Okay.
just do what you're comfortable with. And we're going to talk a little bit about paid help later on. So, if your business got large enough, there is potential that you might be able to get some paid help. But, taking a class to see if it's for you, a free class would be a way to go.
Okay.
YouTube. It is great for, Chelsea uses YouTube a lot. We produce a lot of videos. So we have a YouTube channel. All of our videos are there. If you wanted to, there's 100, 10-minute videos about personal finance or other things that we might have done. So if you have content, if you're showing, the best way to transfer a patient from a wheelchair to a chair, or whatever it might be, YouTube might be the place for that.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to learn more about the YouTube, just curiosity mostly. I don't know if I would really use it. But I was just curious about the cost and all that other stuff that you had to do with it.
So YouTube is a free platform. You can use it. You can upload videos. And if you think about it, I know every single time I'm trying to do something, like change the flusher on the toilet, and I can't figure out how to do it right, I'm like, there has to be a YouTube video that's going to show me how to do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going out there and I'm searching for that content of somebody that made a video that has done this before, that's going to show me how to do it again. So every single time I change the line in the weed whacker, I have to look at the YouTube video to get it done, because it's like once a year. So by the time I'm changing the line in the weed whacker again, I have completely forgotten how to take it apart and get the line in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I use YouTube frequently as a way so that somebody can show me how to do something that is a fairly easy task.
Well, I gotta say that I am pretty proud of myself. My washing machine wouldn't spin, so I YouTubed the type of washing machine that I had, and I said, why won't my washing machine spin? Yep. And they showed exactly how to do it. I had to take it apart and pull it up and get underneath it and remove the motor and all that kind of stuff. But I put this one little $5 piece in there. Yeah. Bam, my washing machine was like brand new again. I was like, I love YouTube.
Right. It's great. It's great to find those easy fixes for things that isn't a huge project. Like, yes. I'm probably not going to like try and fix my car using it, but I will take a shot at fixing a small appliance. Right.
Yeah.
So, it's a great place if you have knowledge that you want to be able to share with somebody else to post those types of content videos.
Okay.
All right. So print marketing. And I'm only going to touch on this pretty briefly because there's social marketing and then there's print marketing. Like, so you open up a newspaper, you open up a magazine, you see ads all over the place. It's not really going away, right? For a business like yours, you're not probably ready to do a newspaper ad or a magazine ad, but you might want to take a sponsorship in something like the Guard Arts Center's little booklets for each program booklet. Because if you think about the type of people that are going to go to the Guard Arts Center, that is your demographic. So finding out how much it costs to take out a small ad in the playbills might be your place to go, because those people might be looking for help. So print marketing, keep it simple. Too many words, thinking through, what people are looking at, how long they're spending looking at it. Are they going to take 10 minutes to read something that's this big? Probably not. So like if you look at this ad that's on the screen right here, it's about not drunk driving, stop the violence, don't drink and drive. It's very graphic. It has very eye-catching, but there's not a lot of content on there. Something for you might be, a really stock photo of, just because you probably wouldn't want to put pictures of your clients in there, but stock photo of somebody caring for an elderly person, maybe giving them lunch or taking them on a car ride. And saying something like,
they already gave me permission.
Oh yeah, if they give you permission,
this is my flyer.
Yeah.
That's the inside.
Yeah. Lovely.
So yeah, I already have their permission, so I can do that. I have it signed and everything. I made sure I had it dated and signed, so the family couldn't come after me later for some reason or another. Sorry about that boob shot, but
yeah, no.
So I did start mailing things out, but God, at 50 something cents a stamp.
Right, it's expensive.
It was getting ridiculous.
It's expensive.
But anyway, so what about the senior center flyers and stuff?
Yeah, so you could create marketing to put at the senior center. Ask them
in their little newsletter thing.
Right. Are they sending something out? Can you put content in? Do they charge for that? Some senior centers might not even charge for that.
Okay.
So, just having that conversation with them, how much is that going to cost? Now, if you think about how much it costs you at 50 cents a pop to send out, flyers, how much can you save by just putting an ad in one place? So, just thinking through, is it worthwhile to put stamps on something and mail it out when I don't know if that person's even going to look at it? Or can I spend the same amount of money on something that's going to get in front of 10 times as many people? That as long as you're putting, especially if it's a digital ad, so you need to figure out how they can get to you from there, right? So can they put a clickable link to your website or your Facebook page? Do you just put an email address or a phone number? But then having that conversation with people when you get the phone call about how they heard about you. Where did you find out about me? Because then you can have a little tick sheet that says, oh, they found me on Facebook. Oh, they found me in the senior center flyer. Oh, they found me, at the Guard Arts Center. So it's just seeing how that marketing is working because you're asking that question when people contact you.
That makes sense.
Color is great if you can. If the color is too expensive, or sometimes they don't even do color ads, black and white is obviously fine. Make sure it's compelling and relevant to your business. So, you want to tug at people's heartstrings a little bit because that gets a lot more return for you. And personalize your marketing. So you can look through your social to see what people really respond to, and that will help you personalize your marketing to hit your target audience. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. And QR codes, I think I skipped that one. QR stands for quick response. That's that little green code on the bottom of the paper. If I scan that code with my phone, all I have to do is open up my camera. It takes me to a URL address somewhere. That URL could be your Facebook page. It could be your website. It could be whatever you're directing them to.
Okay. Is that how that works? You turn your camera on and you put it up to the camera, and from your camera it somehow goes?
Yeah. Your camera reads it, and then your camera will ask if you want to go there.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And you will. Yep.
Incredible.
It's great. So
sounds like it. Okay.
Especially with print marketing, think about if somebody's flipping through somewhere and maybe it's not theirs and they're looking at it and then they're going to put it down, they're not going to remember what your website address is or whatever. But if they scan the QR code, it's going to stay in their phone. So,
okay.
Because if you go to a web address, it takes you
there and it saves it.
Well, they could save it.
Takes you.
Yeah, but if I go back to my web address, the last one that I looked at, it's still going to be there.
I gotcha.
Phone, right?
I
it's not like my computer. When I shut my computer, it goes away. Until I clear the cache on my phone, those web addresses are going to be there.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to talk about cost a little bit. Okay. So to get help to do this, if you're going to DIY it, if you're going to do it yourself, or if you're going to get a college intern, it's going to be free or very low cost, right? So that's definitely an option, especially for startups and new businesses. People might say, hey, go get a freelancer. So a freelancer is somebody that works outside of, they may work for a marketing organization, but they do side work. And this is the typical 5-day thing, but you could hire a freelancer to do one project. So hiring a freelancer to create an ad for you might be the way to go, without having to hire them on to take care of all of everything that you do, right? So a freelancer, just to do this project, that project, 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, $900 a month times 12 months is $10,000 a year. It's a lot.
It is.
If you wanted them to do 5 days a week for, a couple of hours a day, but if you just wanted to hire them to do a project to create an ad for you, it might only cost, $100. So, if there was a reason for you to produce an ad that was really good, because, whatever it might be, that you were going to use it in multiple places, that might be a reason to hire a freelancer to do that for you. Full-time employee, I don't see you probably doing that, but some small businesses might want to hire a full-time employee that is going to handle their marketing. Lots of businesses have that. So you're probably looking at about at least $42,000 a year. I don't see that probably for you. But as businesses grow, you never really know what your needs are going to be. If your business is growing because of marketing and social, and you've got a bunch of employees and you're making a bunch of money, that might be a worthwhile something for you.
That's true. That makes sense. Because I do eventually, like I said yesterday, I'm 55. I do want to get a couple of people to do more of the physical stuff for me. So
Right. Marketing company. So larger businesses, not necessarily startups, but some startups, if they've created a good marketing budget for themselves, the cost for a good small marketing company will range anywhere from $400 to $1,500 a month. So marketing companies will help you create your social media marketing strategy. They'll, make sure that you're on track with ad design, that you are really representing your brand. But it depends on what you want them to do. If you're hiring a marketing agency piecemeal, it's much more expensive. But marketing agencies are great for help with branding and making sure that what you're putting out there is the best possible presentation of you.
okay.
All right. So again, how much should I be putting in for my marketing budget? All right. It totally depends on the business. Okay. Startup for a cleaning company is going to be a totally different marketing budget than say a startup for an artist, because you're two different demographics, two different places you're going. They're going places you're not really going anywhere. So they might be going to shows. They might not need as much because they're out there in the public. But a business that doesn't really have that might need more marketing. It totally depends on your business.
Okay.
What you should be doing is looking at what your total overall budget is for the year. So as you're doing your business plan and you're thinking through how much different things are costing you, and you're looking at that total, it should be about 6.5% to 10% of your overall budget should be for marketing, because all of the other thing is great, but if you don't have clients coming in, you can't pay any of those other bills. So whatever kind of marketing you do, if you decide to go fully social to begin with, your marketing budget could be fairly small, because targeted Facebook ads can be very inexpensive. And something is better than nothing. So, throwing $25 towards advertising because you bought a $25 boost on Facebook is better than not doing that and expecting that you're just going to go viral, because very few things just go viral. And sometimes the things that you want to go viral are not the things that do go viral. A lot of times the things that go viral are because they're not going to be good press for you. So, making sure that you're paying for the content that you want to put out is better than somebody accidentally catching videoing somewhere and you let somebody in a wheelchair roll down a hill. That's not, that would not be the kind of viral video that you would want, right?
No, definitely not.
But that is the type of thing that has a tendency to get a lot of shares, because people are like, holy cow, look at that, so you want to create the content that you want to put out there.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I've got. And that took us just about exactly an hour.
Oh, no kidding. Wow. It probably would have gone longer with more people.
Yeah, there's usually a lot of questions. So,
yeah. Well, thank you so much. It was nice to see you again.
You're welcome.
And
it was good to see you.
I appreciate that. That was very informative. I appreciate